Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, Wendy's Kooky Crochet Tutorial. In this video, I'm going to show you how to make this really cute Oogie Boogie inspired beanie. This would be really cute with the green yarn also, so like the spring green from Red Heart, or you could do the yarn that I've used. This is the buff color from Red Heart, and I'll have my affiliate links down in the description below so you can see exactly what I used to make this. So to start out with, I've got of course my yarn. I've got my size chart, and you can find that in my community page. I've got my crochet hook, and this is a 5.5 millimeter crochet hook. And my buff yarn, you can see, is the Red Heart Super Saver yarn. And you can, of course, you could buy it at Walmart. You can buy that at lots of places. But if you want to order it online, I'll leave the link for you to do that. I need a measuring tape. So this hat I'm going to make to the adult medium size. So that means that it needs to be the 6.5 diameter. But after I made it, I looked back at it, and really what I need to do is I need to measure the circumference of the hat. So the circumference is 20 inches, and that does make a difference. So whenever you're making that, make sure you measure it all the way around, because it came out a little bit smaller when I didn't do it. And I think it's because this one has a little bit more shape to it. You're also going to need your scissors, and you're going to use your yarn needle. And having the yarn needle is actually really important on this, because you have things to sew onto it. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make a double magic ring. And if you don't know how to do that, I'll link my video on how to do that in the description below. Now I'm going to chain 2, and then I'm going to make 8 double crochets in the magic ring. So I'm just going to work 8 double crochets into that magic ring here. And then at the end, what I'm going to do is I'm going to tighten my magic ring. I usually pull the tail end first, just to see what I'm working with, and get that a little bit tight, and then I pull that string in the middle to make it extra tight. That way I don't have to worry about it coming loose or kind of coming undone at all. So here I'm just working those double crochets into my magic ring. So now I'm pulling the tail end, and you see how it kind of bunched that one up in the middle. So now I'm pulling that one that's bunched up, and I'm making that other one really tight. And now I'm going to pull the tail end again, and now I'm going to slip stitch that first double crochet that I made. And I like to count it just to make sure, especially on this first one, that I'm working into the right stitch. So now I'm just slip stitching through there. I'm going to chain 2, and now I'm going to do 1 double crochet in each of the double crochets around. So each of the double crochets on the round that I just did. I'm not starting in the one that I connected to. I'm starting in that next double crochet. So here, this row number 2 is going to have a total of 8 double crochets around. So I'm just going to be making 8 double crochets in this second row. And then the next row, I'm going to do pretty much the same thing. I'm going to chain 2, and then I'm going to make a total of 8 double crochets for that third row. And of course, that's 1 double crochet in each stitch around. And then I'm going to slip stitch with the first stitch that I made, not the chain 2, the first stitch that I made. So here I'm chaining 2. Now I'm just going to do 1 double crochet in each of those stitches around. And when I'm done with this, I'm going to do an increased row, but here you're going to have a total of 3 rows of 8 double crochets each row. So don't want you to get confused there. So you're just going to have a total of 3 rows that has 8 double crochets in each row. And now I'm slip stitching to that first stitch that I made, and I'm going to chain 2. And then I'm going to do 2 double crochets in each stitch around. That'll make this row have a total of 16 double crochets. So again, I'm just doing 2 double crochets in each stitch around. And then when I get back to the first, I'm going to slip stitch into the first double crochet that I made. And then again, that'll be a total of 16 double crochets on this round. So I'm finishing up this round now, and I'm just going to slip stitch into that first double crochet that I made. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to chain 2. I'm going to do 1 double crochet in each of these stitches that I just made. So this one will also have 16 total double crochets in this round, and then I'm going to repeat that one more time. So I will have a total of 3 rounds of 16 double crochets in each round. And I'm just continuing around doing 1 double crochet in each of those stitches on my previous round. And I'm going to repeat this 2 times total. So here I'm just I'm slip stitching in that first double crochet made. I chain 2, and I'm doing another round of double crochets in each one of those double crochets that I made from the previous round. And then that'll give me a total of 16 double crochets for this round also. And when I'm done with this round, I'm going to slip stitch into that first double crochet I made. I'm going to chain 2, and I'm going to do 2 double crochets in the first stitch, and then 1 double crochet in the next stitch. And I'm going to repeat this pattern all the way around until I get to the first double crochet I made on this round. So again, what I'm doing is I am just doing 2 double crochets in that first stitch, or the stitch right there, and then I'm doing 1 double crochet in that next stitch, and I'm just repeating that pattern, and I'm going to repeat that pattern all the way around. And on this row, I'm going to have a total of 24 stitches on this row. And then when I finish up this row, what I'm going to do is I'm going to slip stitch into that first double crochet that I made. I'm going to chain 2, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 1 double crochet in each of those double crochets from the previous row. So that again will give me a total of 24 double crochets in this row. And I'm going to repeat that one more time. So I'll have a total of 3 rows that have 24 double crochets in each row. And when I slip stitch, what I'm doing is I'm slip stitching to the first double crochet that I made. I'm not slip stitching to that chain 2, so I'm going to kind of ignore that chain 2 or pretend that it's not even there. And the reason that I'm doing that like that is because I don't like the way it looks when you slip stitch into that chain 2. It kind of leaves a little hole there, and I don't like the look. I don't like leaving a hole there. And here I'm just slip stitching, and now I'm chaining 2, And now I'm going to again do double crochets all the way around on this row, just one double crochet in each of the stitches all the way around, and at the end I'm going to slip stitch into the first double crochet I made, and this will have a total of 24 double crochets in each of these. And guys, if you're liking what you've seen, please consider subscribing to my channel. If you like this video, hit the like button, and if you want to see all the fun new videos I have coming out, please ring the bell. It really helps me out, and I have such a great time making these patterns for you guys, and I hope you're enjoying following along with me and making this. This pattern in particular and this series that I'm doing, the Nightmare Before Christmas series, is really fun for me, and I have really had a great time making these patterns for you. So on this next round, what I'm going to do is I'm going to chain 2. I'm going to do 2 double crochets in that first stitch, and then I'm going to do 1 double crochet in the next 2 stitches, and then I'm going to repeat this all the way around. So 2 double crochets in that next stitch, and then 1 double crochet in each of the next 2 stitches, and then I'm just going to repeat that pattern all the way around. And then on this one, I'm going to have a total of 32 stitches on this round. So at the end of this round, I will have a total of 32 stitches. So I'm almost at the end here, and I'm going to do a slip stitch into that first double crochet that I made. I'm going to chain 2, and then I'm going to do 1 double crochet in each stitch all the way around. And I'm going to repeat this again. So after I get done with this round, I'm going to repeat that one more time. So I'll have 32 total double crochets in this round, and then the next round it'll be the same exact thing. I'll have 32 double crochets in the next round. And if you get confused like I did there, I was like, did I do that right? You can always go back, look at your stitches, you can count your stitches and see how many you've done, or that helps you know how many that you have left on this round too. So not everybody likes counting their stitches. I pretty much always count mine though. It makes it, honestly, it just makes it easier for me, and then I know that I'm doing it exactly the way I'm supposed to do it. This round off, I'm going to slip stitch into that first double crochet that I made. I'm going to chain 2, and then I'm going to repeat that again all the way around. So I'm just going to do 1 double crochet in each stitch all the way around, and when I'm done with this round, I'm going to slip stitch into that first double crochet that I made. So again, I'm ignoring that chain 2 area, or that chain 2 stitch, and then I'm slip stitching in the first double crochet that I made. And this row will have a total of 32 double crochets. So 32 double crochets on this row. crochets in that first stitch, and then 1 double crochet in each of the next 3 stitches. And then I'm just going to repeat that pattern. So I'm going to do 2 double crochets in the next stitch, and then 1 double crochet in each of the next 3 stitches. It's kind of a tongue twister for me there. So 2 double crochets in 1 stitch, and 1 double crochet in each of the next 3 stitches. And then this row will have a total of 40 stitches in it. So 40 stitches on this row total. And so you're going to just repeat that pattern. You're going to repeat it all the way around till you get to the first double crochet that you made, and you're going to slip stitch into that first double crochet that you made. So you're going to just repeat this pattern all the way around. So I'm getting close to being all the way around. So when I get to the end here, again, I'm going to slip stitch into that first double crochet that I made. And then after that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to chain 2. So I'm chaining 1, 2. And now I'm going to just do double crochets all the way around. And this will again have 40 double crochets on this round total. So I'm just going to continue doing the double crochets, 1 in each stitch, all the way around with 40 total. And if for some reason you have a hard time seeing which was the first one you made, then you could always put a stitch marker in that. That's really, really helpful to do if you have a hard time seeing the first one you made. The double crochets are usually pretty easy for you to see where you're at, but if you're doing a single crochet or half double crochet, that could be a little bit harder to see. So again, it may be helpful for you to put a stitch marker in some of those. So I'm just going all the way around doing double crochets. Slip stitch into that first stitch that I made, and now I'm going to chain 2, and I'm going to double crochet in each of those next stitches. And again, I'm just counting them again. I like to count to see how far along I've come. So for this next round, what I'm doing is I'm doing 2 double crochets in that first stitch, and then I'm going to do 1 double crochet in each of the next 4 stitches around. And I'm going to repeat this pattern all the way down. And on this row, I'm going to have 48 total stitches. And one good thing about this is if you get confused and you need to go back to where you did the 2 double crochets, that'll tell you where you're at. And so you can count from there. So I'm just doing 2 double crochets in 1 stitch, and then I'm doing 1 double crochet in each of the next 4 stitches. And then I'm repeating that pattern all the way around until I get to the very first double crochet that I made, and then I'm going to slip stitch into that very first double crochet that I made. So again, I'm ignoring the chain 2 that I made at first. first double crochet that I made, and I'm going to chain 2, and now I'm going to do 1 double crochet in each stitch around, and that's going to be another total of 48 double crochets on this round. So I'm just going to do 1 double crochet in each stitch made. I'm going to work that all the way around, and I'm going to slip stitch into that first double crochet that I made. Into that first double crochet that I made, I'm going to chain 2, and now I'm just going to count again how many rows that I have there. So this next one, I'm going to do 2 double crochets in the first stitch, then I'm going to do 1 double crochet in each of the next 5 stitches, and that's going to have 56 double crochets on this row. So again, I'm just doing 2 double crochets in 1 stitch, and then I'm doing 1 double crochet in each of the next 5 stitches, and then I'm repeating that all the way around till I get to the end. And then when I get to the end, what I'm going to do is I'm going to slip stitch to the first double crochet I made. So I'm going to ignore that chain stitch, and I'm going to slip stitch into the first double crochet that I made. So I'm just repeating this all the way around, and then again this row will have a total of 56 double crochets in it. That I needed to measure it all the way around, so the circumference of the hat. And the reason I decided to do this is because when I was measuring it like this, it looks like the hat should be big enough, but it really isn't big enough. So I needed to make sure that I was actually doing the hat as big as it needed to be. So then I decided I was going to measure all the way around. So here I just chained 2, and now I'm doing 1 double crochet in each stitch around, and that'll be a total of 56 double crochets for this round. So I'm just doing 1 double crochet in each of the stitches around, and then I'm going to slip stitch to that first double crochet that I made. to slip stitch to that first double crochet that I made. I'm going to get out the measuring tape again, and I'm going to try to measure it again. And this time I am just going to show you how I'm going all the way around this to make sure that it is the right circumference that I need, not just the diameter, since you see it's kind of like maybe a little bit of a U shape there, so I don't think it's coming out exactly right when I just do the diameter. So I'm going to go around the whole circumference, and so I can see here that I have about 17 inches, and what I need for an adult medium is 20 inches, so I need to add some more rows here. So what I'm doing on this one is I'm going to chain 2, I'm going to do 2 double crochets in the first stitch, and I'm going to do 1 double crochet in each of the next 6 stitches, and then I'm going to repeat this all the way around, and this round will have a total of 64 double crochets. And again, I'm just repeating that sequence, so I'm doing 2 double crochets in the first stitch and 1 double crochet in each of the next 6 stitches, and then I'm repeating that all the way around until I get to the first double crochet that I made. And when I do that, I'm going to do what I've been doing, and I'm just going to slip stitch into that very first double crochet that I made. I'm just slip stitching to that first stitch that I made, so that first double crochet. I chain 2, and now I'm going to do double crochet, 1 double crochet in each of the stitches around. And again, this one will have a total of 64 double crochets in this round. And so again, I'm just doing double crochets, 1 in each stitch all the way around until I get to the very first double crochet that I made. And I'm going to slip stitch into that very first double crochet that I made, and then you will have 64 double crochets in this round. just slip stitching to that first single crochet that I made, and I went ahead and chain 2. So here I'm just going to, I counted my rows again. So now this is my row 20 for me, so it took me 20 rows to get the circumference that I needed. So now I'm just going to do 1 double crochet in each stitch around until I get the height that I need. So on the chart it says for an adult medium that you really need about 7 inches in height, but you can't really go by that very well just because it has so much height because of the pointy part of the beanie. So here you're just going to kind of need to, honestly what I did was I just tried it on until I thought it was good. So for me, I ended up doing this part from row 20 on. So I ended up, that part was about 3.5 to 4 inches, and that fit me really, really well. So I know that it would fit most adults if that fit me very well. Now, if you have a smaller child, then you probably need to go with a little bit less, but you can usually kind of eye it and tell what you need to do. So if it was a newborn, so if it was an infant, I would probably, from that last stitch that or the last round that I made that had the increases, I would probably do about 2.5 inches probably from that, and go from there, and then I would just work my way up from there. So again, for me, that's about 3.5 to 4 inches from the round 20. And here, what I'm going to do after I get done with this next round, what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark that 20th round. That way I know where I started just working down at and where I stopped doing my increases at. And that's going to help me measure later on. So what I'm doing here is I'm just grabbing a black piece of yarn and I'm putting it through that 20th stitch, the bottom of that 20th stitch, so I know where to measure from. So I'm just, again, I'm going 1 double crochet in each stitch around, and then when I get to the first one that I made, I'm slip stitching into that first stitch that I made, and then I'm chaining 2, and I'm continuing doing 1 double crochet in each stitch around until I get the height that I need. And again, this one that I need is going to be around 3.5 to 4 inches, where it sits on the head comfortably at. So from where I marked that stitch at, so where I put that black yarn at, I'm going to need 3.5 to 4 inches from where I put that black yarn at to fit an adult medium size head. And again, I'm just going around and around and around until I get to that height that I need. You can pause this video also anytime you want to. I sped it up because I didn't want you guys to be really bored just watching me do double crochets and slip stitches and chain stitches for, 40 minutes here, however long it took me to do it. So just remember, you can pause this video anytime you like. Now I've gotten to the height that I need, so between 3.5 and 4. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut my yarn here, and then I'm going to pull my black yarn through. So this is going to be kind of my finishing round for this. So I'm going to pull my black yarn through. I'm going to chain 1, and then I'm going to do a single crochet, chain 1, and then a single crochet. And so I'm going to do 1 single crochet in each of the stitches before, and then I'm going to chain 1, and then I'm going to do a single crochet in the next stitch. So I'm going to repeat that pattern all the way around. And the reason that I like this is it looks kind of bumpy here, so it's not just 100% even, and I think that looks great with Oogie Boogie. And so here I'm just repeating that same pattern all the way around till I get to the very first one that I made. And when I get to the very first single crochet that I made, I'm going to slip stitch into that very first single crochet. And so again, I'm doing a single crochet in a stitch, and then I'm chaining 1, and then I'm doing a single crochet in the next stitch, and then chaining 1. And I'm repeating that pattern all the way around until I get to the very first one that I made. black yarn, and I'm just going to pull it through. And what I'm going to do is